with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Saturday Sports Countdown. You got the chain smoker again today. Tell you, good help's hard to find, Scott, when you got to run me up here sounding like this for the second day in a row. But glad that you joined us here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Like the shirt.
Yeah. I know you got one very similar.
I do.
It's one of my favorites, and so it felt like a good time to
Miss seeing him play.
Yeah.
Especially for the Buccaneers.
Seriously.
They're stuck with Baker Mayfield now, so you have to deal with that. But anyway, I'd love to hear from you today. 256-234-6221. A lot to talk about. Man, next Wednesday's a big day for college football. Obviously, as the signing period ends, the first signing period becomes available, and we know a majority of the top-name guys are going to sign next Wednesday. Our very own Malcolm Simmons right here in Alexander City will be signing with Auburn, have a signing ceremony at 10 o'clock over at Benjamin Russell High School, and then come over here at noon and be on the show, be on the Auburn Blitz. So looking forward to having Malcolm. Malcolm over in Mississippi today, along with Coach Grider for the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game at noon right here on WOTM. So we'd love to make sure you tune in there. You can tune in on the AHSAA radio network. We'll be covering that game. Corey LeBounty did the North-South game yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about that game here coming up. Matt Johnson, Kyle Caldwell coached in that game for the South, Elmore County and Reeltown's coach. So I was able to talk to Kyle yesterday on his way back. Unfortunately, they had a tragedy at Elmore County High School yesterday. They lost a young man in a car accident after he was early released from his exams. So he and another friend, really nothing nefarious or anything, just on the road, don't have much details. Car left the road, had an accident, and one of the young men passed away. So our thoughts and prayers are with them and everybody in the Elmore County community as they mourn that today and the next few days, and their family. And Kyle said it's just been a tough situation all the way around, and he talked about how that community, they lost a faculty member or a staff member at the end of the last year's school year. He said, so it's been a lot to deal with in their community just in the last 12 months.
Yeah, and I think they may have been like the second student possible or second incident in the last couple of weeks that it happened in Elmore County. So it's, as you said, thoughts and prayers to that community, but was a great opportunity to be represented on a big stage with Coach Caldwell in his second year and really doing some great things with the Elmore County program. And obviously we know what type of coach Coach Matt Johnson is, and so it was great to have from our service area that type of representation.
Yeah. And again, we'll have Smitty Grider on the staff, defensive line coach this week for the Alabama team and the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, and it's a star-studded roster for Alabama and Mississippi. It's in Hattiesburg. It's on the campus of Southern Miss, so should be a really good game. Corey LeBounty will call that one as well. Did a great job yesterday. Enjoyed watching and listening. Listened to a little bit of it on our app, the AHSAA radio app. Also was able to watch some of it on the WOTM network. So whether you're watching it or listening to it, I appreciate all the support out there and the radio stations that'll be carrying that game for us on the network today. But you can get it on your app. You can get it on the Mixler app. You can go to the AHSAA main webpage and listen to it. The players right there on the front. Or you can watch it on WOTM, and Vincent and them do a really good job of making sure, man, what a well-produced and I hate to cut on something, but this past week, Georgia, the state championships of Georgia, man, they couldn't keep a signal. And the game kept cutting in and out, or the games kept cutting in and out. And, man, I had people telling me, they're like, man, can't even watch this. And imagine if you had a team or a kid or something in that game and the broadcast was that terrible. I mean, I don't think we realize, well, we do, and I think most people do realize what a quality product WOTM and Vincent Early and his staff put out for our Super 7, our finals basketball, the Alabama-Mississippi, the North-South games. They just, man, they're top notch, and we're blessed to have such a great crew to be able to professionally produce those games, Scott.
Absolutely, and you're thinking, you have the one game on Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday you have 3 games apiece. You have all of the interviews you have to orchestrate, and just making sure that you got all of the right spots loaded for each location and all. I mean, there's a lot that goes into play from a radio side. Then you include the TV side and vice versa. So I did want to say that I thought that last week's championship series was phenomenally produced and great called games by our team. And it was great to see all of the work and the effort that's gone into it over the last 20 years.
I'm glad it didn't sound like this last week.
All of that coming to fruition.
Right.
But, very excited to see what happens today. I wanted to get your thoughts on this, and I know we'll continue to talk about the game. But if somebody was, somebody like a Malcolm, now he's going to Auburn, and, it doesn't really impact him as much. But can a game like this do something from a recruiting side?
It can. Yesterday, heard Coach Terry Curtis, UMS Wright's head coach, one of the best coaches ever in this state, was doing the color commentating with Corey, and young man from Daphne High School, running back. It really had a good game yesterday, and a couple other guys really, not saying it was a tryout, but it was. You're playing against top-notch talent. It is an all-star game. I understand that, but when you got guys of that caliber that still haven't committed, you got colleges, yes, there's going to be watching that film and saying, man, this kid can get it done at the next level. And so, yes, maybe not necessarily as much in the Alabama-Mississippi game, but there's guys in the Alabama-Mississippi game that aren't committed to anybody either. And they want to play at the next level. And, yes, we've seen it over the years where a kid will come out and have a phenomenal game and get an offer after that game. So, and the way the signing period is now, Scott, with the early signing period in December, and then you still have that second signing period out there in February, you have recruiting that even continues on past February now, because after the dust settles with these teams getting guys in and transfer portal closing and all this, they may have additional spots open up on their roster and may make room for some of these late guys that haven't committed early in the process. So, yes, today is a big game for a lot of those kids out there and trying to make inroads with some of these staffs and these colleges.
That's great to hear. And, I think that the more opportunities these kids have to get exposure, obviously, is for the best. And with you bring up the transfer portal and how really rosters are being built with that, so you're very limited on the amount of high school kids that you're bringing in. So it is great, I think, to have that opportunity. But historically speaking, we've seen Alabama really – the records may not always be reflective of this, but Alabama has consistently had some top-notch talent in comparison to Mississippi. But I think this year's game is a little more even, and it'll be a good opportunity to see some of the guys that we've been talking about for the last 6 months, really the last couple years for some of these guys, and seeing them have an opportunity on such a big stage.
Yeah, over on the Mississippi side, DeMonte Waller, that is a big-time commit to Florida. A lot of people anticipate him flipping to Auburn maybe before Wednesday, which would be huge. Auburn's in on L.J. McCray and several other guys that are – Florida may not allow Auburn people to come back in to the state if Hugh Freeze flips 3 or 4 of these guys. He's already flipped one, but working on a couple of other big ones for Florida. And but anyway, that's part of the deal. But yesterday, the Alabama-Mississippi game, the South won 31-28. We'll talk more about that. The kid I was talking about, Nick Clark for for Daphne, had 102 yards on 14 carries and 2 touchdowns. So not saying that he didn't have a good year, not saying that, he wasn't already, a solid football player, but he probably got the attention of some people yesterday down there with that effort. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, but we'll talk about that game a little bit more. We're going to recap the Super 7 from last week. We didn't have a show on Saturday because everybody was rolling into town about 2 or 3 in the morning from Tuscaloosa. So, but yeah, we had a great week in Tuscaloosa and had really good games. There was only one really that kind of got away. Was that Montgomery Catholic game, but Montgomery Catholic finally gets over the hump, Scott, and gets a state championship. So we'll talk about that and more, just getting started here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. We'd love to hear from you, 256-234-6221. Again, I apologize for my voice today. Hopefully it'll continue to get a little bit better and better as we move along, but unfortunately you're going to have to deal with me sounding like I've been working in a Marlboro factory for about 40 years. But anyway, up against our first break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Why don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Mark was not real happy with the broadcast on Wednesday night with the Auburn basketball game. A lot of people were, it wasn't very good.
Yeah,
And I appreciate the kind words, Mark. He said on y'all's worst day of broadcasting, your team is 1,000% better than that Auburn broadcast was Wednesday night. And it wasn't the Auburn crew; it was the group from Birmingham that was pretty much paid. It was like an infomercial for Huntsville, was what it was. And I know Huntsville paid, probably a lot of money to get that Rocket City Classic to promote them, promote their city. But the entire broadcast, Scott, was nothing but interviews of mayors and chamber and everything. And I get it, but they had the Auburn game in a box off to the right. And if you happened to be riding somewhere, you didn't have a clue what happened. I mean, you didn't know what the score was. You didn't know who made a play. But it was odd. And I'm sure for Jim Dunaway and that group, it was an odd deal to have to sit there and call a game and conduct full interviews during the basketball game. So, but we appreciate the kind words Mark said. Also, based on some recent Auburn transfers, it leaves some spots for someone with Malcolm's skill to come in and be a big contributor. Excited to see that. Yeah, I'm excited for Malcolm and this entire signee class. I think most of the receivers for Auburn on this year's team have gotten in the transfer portal. We just saw Johnson get in the portal. I think Jay Fair is staying, but a lot of guys are gone, and but they read the handwriting on the wall. Skill level is out the roof, and yeah, you're right. Go have an opportunity for a lot of these kids to come in and have immediate impact on the field, and I think that's what Hugh Freeze wants. I think Hugh Freeze is like, look, we'll cut our teeth with a bunch of 5-star and 4-star guys.
Yeah, and I think that if you're building a program, doing it this way too allows for, if you're a coach too, you get a little more padding in terms of patience, and people understand that you're dealing with some younger players. But nowadays, kids are coming in, and we've seen people be, especially at the skill position, at the skill position, come in and make immediate impacts.
Right.
And so whether it's in the return game or whether it's getting involved early on in the actual passing game, I think that Auburn, with this class, has an opportunity to really, really change the perception and mindset of what it is to be a receiver at Auburn. We haven't really, ever really had anybody that of this nature. We've brought some guys,
which is really mind-boggling when you want to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, we've had opportunities to get guys, but like even the people that we've brought in that we thought maybe they just never really developed. And so I think that that's something that we used to say so much about with Malzahn, was we were able to bring guys in, but they were underdeveloped. I think that would be the complete opposite now. I think even a 3-4-star guy will be developed higher, and these 5-stars will get the nurturing that they need to really see their full potential.
I know that there's been a lot of past Auburn football players at Auburn, at Georgia, at wherever they've gone on to be recruiters and coaches, have won the recruiting award year in and year out. I can list a bunch of them, but Marcus Davis has got to be one of the best we've ever had at Auburn. I mean, this guy is hitting new levels. I mean, we've had some really good defensive guys in the past and whatnot, but for the most part, I don't know that I've seen a group come in this highly touted, and they're not done. Regardless if Auburn gets Ryan Williams or not, what he's got with Cam Coleman and Perry Thompson, Malcolm Simmons, and Bryce Kane, and for elite wide receivers and other guys that Auburn's in the mix on. Just got a transfer over there from Georgia State and some other places that Auburn's still looking at a few more receivers, but I mean, this guy deserves a lot of credit. And I know it's not just him. I know it's a combination, and Hugh Freeze has obviously got this thing, the ship righted, and it's going in the right direction. But, man, what a great addition to the staff Marcus Davis was.
And you know how great a recruiter you had to be, or the impact that you're making on these visits or with these families, for people to see what has taken place over the last couple of years at Auburn. And then even – I mean, you could see that Auburn was trending in the right direction this year. That's the
You're
part
convincing
too.
people
Yes.
to come to you.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's something is being said or done for these kids to say, all right, it's not necessarily you're taking a chance now. They see that the foundation has been built to a point. And people now, too, everything with NIL and all of that, everybody's on an equal playing field. So, you know, they want to win a championship, obviously, but I think it means more to be on the foundation of something where you can say, I was a part of the group that got Auburn back to where it should be.
And Amaris Williams, I'll use him as an example, a quote yesterday, big defensive tackle that's committed to Florida, but really everybody feels like it's going to flip to Auburn. He said, look, you know, I feel comfortable knowing that Auburn's got a staff that's 3 to 5 years stable. And basically he's taking a shot at Florida with all the pressure on Billy Napier and everything going on down there. Is in 1 year, Auburn's flipped the perception of being completely unstable, and you don't want to come here, and you're apprehensive. Even if you like Auburn, you don't know if anybody's going to be there next year with Brian Harsin in that group. To now, you know, Hugh Freeze and this staff and this group will be there. You're right. You don't know what the future holds, but you know Hugh Freeze isn't going anywhere. You know he's just getting started. You know all these assistants are going to be there unless they get another opportunity to go and get a head coaching job or something like that. So he feels comfort, Scott, when he's comparing Florida to Auburn. Hey, look, you want to use the analogy of the 14 playoff and say, well, Florida State isn't the team now that they were early in the year. Well, guess what? You can do that in recruiting too. You can look at teams and you can look at programs and say, they're not the same program they were 9 months ago. When they started recruiting me, they're in better shape than the program that I'm committed to now, and vice versa. So it don't just happen on the field. It happens in recruiting too. And Auburn would probably be one of the biggest flips of a program status on the recruiting side is any. So a lot of these recruits have looked at it, and look, I know money's a part of it, but money isn't going to always get you a player when you're head-to-head with a program if you got instability versus stability.
Agreed. And, I mean, if you're offering $2 and I'm offering $2.25, that doesn't know. I mean,
right.
When it boils down to it, it really is. It's about the stability and also knowing that these kids that enter the transfer portal, for the most part, that's not what they wanted to do. Like they went to the school they wanted to go to because they thought that there was a good opportunity for them to help be successful. So, you know, I think Florida is a prime example of what can happen on a year-to-year basis on the reversion of what we're seeing on the Auburn side. But I think that Auburn has a legitimate opportunity to, if they continue to recruit at this level, not just now, but the next 2, 3, 4 years, with the talent that we think they're going to have, if they're able to do what Texas A&M couldn't, I think that if they're able to actually win what these guys are bringing in, you see a shift in the
And again, I think this is just the start for Auburn. You can't just go out, and I don't know where this class ends, in the top 5 maybe, wherever. But you can't go top 5 this year and 25 next year. You got to establish a precedence. It's got to be consistent. You got to build on that, and you got to be a program like Georgia and Alabama when it comes to recruiting to be able to year in and year out get these caliber players. You can't just have a one-shot deal in 2023 here or in 2024 and sign this awesome class and then fall back into the 20s next year. I mean, you got to do it every single year and build up a stockpile and know that you're going to lose kids in the portal. Know that's part of the deal, but you got so much talent. If you lose some, you're going to gain them back through recruiting. So that's where you got to be. You got to have a roster built like that, Scott, to compete in this league. And we saw the schedules released this week. They're brutal for SEC teams. And I'll be the first to say, I think Auburn, man, I know you got to go on the road to Georgia and Alabama, but, man, the rest of the schedule is extremely favorable for this Auburn team. I mean, if you want to look at it, from a very, very, very optimistic standpoint, if you're an Auburn fan, I mean, they lost to Georgia by a touchdown. They lost to Alabama on the last play of the game, in essence. They lost to Ole Miss 28-21. I mean, those are 3 really good football teams, 3 of the best in the country, obviously 3 of the best in this league for sure. And Auburn, with the roster they had, and finishing 6-6, I mean, you flip the fortune in those games, you're 9-3. So you're getting better talent, and you're increasing that. I mean, you feel like you're far away.
State, that's 10 wins.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But they laid you're going to lay an egg, and Auburn laid an egg in that game for whatever reason. But if you look at it from that standpoint, you're maybe not as far away as you really thought you were, especially if you get in here and you flip the roster. And, yeah, you're going to be young, but I'd rather play with young 5-stars than veteran 2 and 3 stars. I'm sorry.
I always want to win as many games as possible, and I want Auburn to have the best season every year. But if you're looking at what happened in Malzahn's first year versus Freeze's first year, I thought that we overachieved and maybe we did some things that maybe set people's expectations.
Unrealistic.
So at least with this, you go 6-6. Even next year, if he goes 8-4, 9-3, it's like, all right, we're trending in the right direction.
Of course.
So by year 3, and now you've got your guys in, 2 recruiting classes in, and whatever you're doing in the portal, in that 2 years from now is when you'll get that home schedule back. There's a great opportunity for Auburn if things, projection-wise and forecasting out, Alabama will be what they are, LSU will be what they are, but Auburn has a legitimate shot to be competing for the SEC West, I think, moving forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. We're going to talk about the Alabama-Mississippi game when we come back. We're going to recap the Super 7 from this past week. Again, for those that just tuned in, I apologize for my voice. I feel fine, but I'm on the backside of this crud that everybody's had, so trying to fight through it, and just bear with me. We appreciate you tuning in today. We're going to take a break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindawa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Black Friday deals are here all month long at Opel Like a Ford. Get 3.9% for 60 months on all new 2023 Ford F-150s or 1.9% for 60 months on 2023 Ford Edges. Only at Opel Like a Ford. Black Friday deals are here all month long at Opel Like a CDJR. Get 2.9% financing for 72 months on new Ram 1500 or 15% off MSRP on new Jeep Compass. Only at Opel Like a CDJR.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill. Scott, today's not the day. I mean, really, not with me sounding like Snuffy McGraw up here, or whoever that is. I don't know. I think I may have made that up. Anyway, it sounded like a pretty good name to go along with my voice. Anyway, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. Yesterday, the North-South game on our network, the South won 31-28. We'll have the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game today on the network. Our very own Smitty Grider will be coaching on the Alabama side. Malcolm Simmons will be playing in that football game. I saw a picture of them together last night at the banquet. So been part of many of those early on in our career. And that's always a fun event, very prestigious all-star game, one of the best high school football all-star games in the country. If you look at it from a standpoint of who's come out of that, you look down this roster, and we'll read off some of these names, but you don't have Cam Coleman and Perry Thompson in there. They both opted out for whatever reason. I think Cam Coleman wanted to just take some time off, and I think Perry Thompson did too, to kind of finish the recruiting process, and some decide not to play in the game because they don't want to try to get hurt. I mean, let's just be honest about it. And I know that, and that's individuals making decisions there. I mean, others maybe approach it a different way. They want to go out there and showcase what they've got and their talent, or maybe some are vying for opportunities that maybe aren't there right now, Scott.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you take it.
Let me just tell Reed, you got our speaker up in here, buddy, so we can hear your conversation. So
somebody like a Malcolm, for example, like he's never not going to take an opportunity to play. If there's an opportunity to play some ball, he's going to do so. But I think this game again really. I love that you have the opportunity. It does a couple things. One, people who are maybe on the 3-star, 4-star range, or 4-star, 5-star range, it gives an opportunity to expand on that or elevate your recruiting profile. And then it's for the guys who maybe they just want to see how they're going to do. Like they had good years, but they haven't really received the offers we talked about earlier in the first segment. So just a good opportunity for some exposure. And then you're going against the best of the best, and you've practiced against the best of the best all week. So, and there's recruiting within these games itself. So,
no doubt.
These kids are recruiting too. So it's just a lot of chess being played during this week.
Speaking of chess, I know we'll dive into Alabama football as well, but Nick Saban hired one of Michigan's former assistants. So look, there's no rule against it. Guy, not employed, so he goes out and employs. And look, let's be honest, there's strategy to that. That wasn't, hey, let's go grab that guy. He's something special. I mean, he knows. So maybe a little bit of shot back at Harbaugh at his own game.
Yeah, I think.
Seriously,
that was very much a Saban move, and I thought that it was well played. And what he can bring in a month's time, what's that? But there are some things, some tendencies, and things that they, that probably could be useful for Alabama. Not that I think they're going to necessarily need it, but I thought that was a great play by Saban.
Well, it just shows you that. It doesn't look. You can point a finger, and you don't want to blatant cheat like Michigan has, obviously, but there's a lot of strategy and things that go on by every team to try to get an advantage. That's part of competition.
Yeah,
You're trying to get an advantage. That's why you watch film. That's why you study film, is to try to figure out if they tip their hand on certain plays or they tip their hand, in certain situations that you can kind of be leaning in one way or another. And it's the other team's responsibility to go, okay, they're going to be thinking we're going to do this when we line up, and we're going to do it this way this time. That's how you combat that. And it's just who can outplay each other in the film room a lot of times.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and that's always been my stance on it. Everybody is doing it, there's no difference.
To a degree.
There's no difference in watching a replay, essentially. If, as a fan, the replay comes on, you watch it, there's certain things, when they lined up and, trips left, they were going to always go to the right or whatever it may be. So if somebody, just a novice watching it, can acknowledge that, then there's no reason why.
You saying Gus Malzahn was predictable?
Well, you know, yeah. I don't think it mattered. But, I don't know if you.
If you didn't have 10 men in the box on the first play of the game against Gus Malzahn, it was your fault. It's every time. Let's run up the middle and get the game. Did he think that you had to do that to start the game? Did he think you couldn't run any other play? You had to run the ball up the middle first.
Let me ask you this: when it's, let's say, 20 years from now, I mean, we'll have to see how Freeze plays out. But even like 5 years from now, if you're looking at just Malzahn's tenure, do you think that his how he's looked or his legacy will be viewed favorably?
I do. I think a lot of people at Auburn appreciate Coach Malzahn and what he did, and he had some really good years at Auburn. You know, the other years were not terrible years; they were just average years. You know, I think Gus Malzahn was a 7-5, 8-4 coach, and he had a couple of 10-win seasons sprinkled in, and had a trip to a national championship game. So I don't think anybody harbors any bad feelings or ill will toward Gus Malzahn. I think he considers himself still a big Auburn guy. He's got a house in this area, and you know, when he does give up football, we'll move here and live here. And so, yeah, I think Gus Malzahn did a really good job for the most part for Auburn. You know, you come in and inherit a dumpster fire that Gene Chizik left behind in 2012, and you take a team to a national championship game. You know, you'll always be entrenched in that fan base's heart for the most part. Now, you're going to have some fans, just like every program has fans that, hey, look, I still run across fans for Alabama and buddies of mine that they go, man, I appreciate Coach Stallings, but good Lord, that was brutal, you know. And they won a national title in '92. So you're just going to have some fans that have their mind made up. And I don't think anybody likes Brian Harsin. I haven't found anybody that likes him. I don't know that there's many Alabama fans that like Mike Price.
Yeah.
I wish Brian Harsin would have found a club to go to like Mike Price had, so we wouldn't have had to deal with it. And we could have gotten rid of him like Alabama got rid of Mike Price and moved on down the line. But there's going to be some coaches in your fan base is going to alienate. I don't think there's a lot of Alabama fans that are too fond of Mike Dubose. I mean, he won an SEC title in '98, but I mean, for the most part, they were like, man, this guy was a clown for the most part, on and off the field. So we're all going to have that. Unfortunately, you know, we'll probably have some more in the future. But right now, I feel good about what we have and the progress that we've got. And Justin Mosley said, Out City Youth Wrestling Tournament today at CAC. Y'all come out and watch some great wrestling. It is a big event there, and I appreciate Justin passing that word along over there at Central Alabama Community College. And, you know, there's also a basketball tournament coming up, Scott, between some really good programs in high school this coming up week. So CAC being the epicenter now of athletics, but youth wrestling here in the city of Alex City and surrounding area has really exploded the last few years. So, go out if you want to watch a bunch of kids out wrestling in a tournament today over at CAC. Make sure you swing by. You'll enjoy it. I promise you. Never been to a wrestling tournament, man. It's something.
It's intense.
It's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. But we're up against a break. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We are in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Frontline Outfitters provides all your aftermarket parts for your cars, trucks, and as well as your professional tinting solutions for auto, residential, and commercial buildings. Frontline Outfitters also handles vinyl wraps, spray-in bed liners, truck accessories, LED lighting, paint correction and detailing, and much more. Make sure Frontline Outfitters of Alexander City is your first call for tinting and aftermarket solutions. Call us today, 256-409-8100.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Again, my apologies. I'll keep doing this, Scott, throughout the show. My voice isn't
Sounds like it's getting better, though.
Well, better than what it was. Doesn't say much. So, but it is. It's getting a little bit better. Hopefully, by next week, we'll be back 100%. Alabama, Mississippi All-Star game today at noon. Malcolm Simmons from our area, Coach Smitty Grider in that game. We'll run down this roster real quick. A star-studded roster for Alabama. We got Jamarian Fat Burnett, who was a commit to Auburn, really kind of pulled off of that. I think maybe Auburn pulled off of him too. It's not a cut on him, but maybe decided to go in separate ways. I think maybe Missouri is in on him now, and he'll land somewhere, but I think he's got something to prove today. Maybe like the kid from Daphne yesterday in the North-South game. He's a great running back. He's been a great running back. He's got good size, 6'1", 200 pounds from Andalusia. He'll be a kid to watch there, Scott. I think that's not really committed to anybody right now. To my knowledge, I don't think he committed to Missouri, but he'll be interesting to watch because you run the football a lot in these games.
Yeah, and again, I think that's really your linemen really have an opportunity to showcase their skills. I think people have a great idea kind of for the most part about skill position players, but from both lines of scrimmage, I think there's a good chance to see some exposure today for some of these guys.
Yeah, Bryce Kane from Baker High School is commit to Auburn. Big-time speedster will be wearing number 4. Malcolm Simmons here from Benjamin Russell will be wearing number 5. The speedster from Clay Chalkville that's committed to Mississippi State, Mario Craver, had as big a part in winning that state championship as anybody. He'll be wearing number 7. Scott, here's a kid I think has a lot to prove today when he gets his shot in there. Roman Gagliano from Opelika, the quarterback. I'm not sure he's committed to anybody right now, but, man, you want to talk about the size, 6'3", 210, very strong arm, very athletic. Will be interesting to see, what he's able to do against some really high talent over on the Mississippi side. He can come out and impress some colleges today, may get some bigger offers.
Yeah, and, you want to see that, especially like you look at the peripherals and say, all right, this is a guy that should be getting, these types of offers. And so when if you're able to see him do it on a display of that type of talent, I think it bodes well for him to hopefully increase his exposure and offer opportunities.
Bradley Shaw from Hoover High School, big-time linebacker, 6'1", 225 pounds, will be wearing number 14. Just kind of going down through here. Kamar Harris from BB Comer, I thought that's big. A two-way player in this game. Just kind of tells you where he is talent-wise, 6'1", 235 pounds, listed as an athlete. So really defense, offense, he played both, obviously, at BB Comer. But for that kid, he's got an opportunity to showcase, hey, look, I've played in two-way football. I'm going to go against all these 7A, 6A guys, and I'm going to show you that I'm on their level.
Yeah, and I mean, there is maybe something to be said about that in certain instances, but if you're a player, you're a player. And I think somebody like him welcomes this opportunity to be able to go against some of these guys, to let them know that, say, regardless of my classification, I'm just as good and deserve the same recognition and attention that some of these other guys have received.
Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. from Gadsden City High School, committed to Alabama, be wearing number 21. No shot there.
This is just for a second. That
you
just
about to
makes
talk
me
about how
laugh.
old is?
Yeah, like we were covering his dad, and now it's he's
yeah.
I mean
Trust me.
that's
I know it. Yep. So now he's on an Alabama Mississippi roster. So coming full circle, what do you think he feels like? So
no joke.
So Jalen Mbakwe from Clay Chalkville, obviously the MVP of the 6A game, committed to Alabama, will be wearing number 24. He'll be playing in the secondary today. That's where he will be playing at Alabama. Really was at quarterback this year because of that's what Drew wanted to do, wanted to take his best athlete and put him back there, and obviously it worked out for him. They won a state title doing it. So he'll be wearing number 24. Jaquan McCroy, also from Clay Chalkville, number 52, 6'8", 370-pound offensive tackle, going to Oregon. Very, very good player. He's not just 6'8", 370 over there just standing around. This guy's athletic. He's very physical. He rolled several Saraland defensive tackles and linebackers in the second level. Man, he's a big guy, and he's strong and he's physical.
That's just a massive.
It's a massive man.
Yeah, gosh almighty.
6'8", 370, one of the biggest I can remember.
I mean, Fluker, I thought, was like maybe one of the biggest people I'd ever seen.
He was,
and I mean, he can't even compare in that regard. That's insane.
Malik Blockton from Pike Road High School, 6'4", 275. Everybody's saying he's had a really good practice this week. We saw him up close and personal a few weeks ago, and he caused a lot of havoc for us in that game. Very talented. I think got a tremendous upside. Maybe clean some things up. I think he'll trim up when he gets to Auburn. I mean, I think 275 is the right weight for him, but maybe a different kind of 275 for him that'll benefit him and help him with his speed. But a very strong kid, hard to defend that guy one-on-one off the offensive line. He's a double team type guy, so he'll be wearing number 65 there on the defensive line. Jeremiah Beeman from Parker, 6'4", 265 defensive lineman, committed to Alabama. Just a tremendous player, very fast up front. He'll be wearing 96 there, and that's just some of the highlights there of some of the kids there. Quentin Reese from Ramsey will be wearing number 30, also an Alabama commit. Quentin Reese, his dad, played at Auburn, so that's interesting there. But that's just a few of the guys. That's by far not all of them. But just wanted to hit some of the high points there for the Alabama team that will be playing today at noon against Mississippi. Another great game set up. Mississippi's got a great roster as well.
Yeah, and just not to belabor a point, but it does feel good, like if you're an Auburn fan at least, that Auburn has some commits or some guys that are going to sign that will be coming to Auburn on this roster. The other side is too that we're actually involved and engaged with these people. Where
we've taken 2 years. We've had a couple years off.
Yeah, so it's good to be back in that regard.
I wish I could take a couple years off and then cash $20 million. Not just get paid. No, take a couple years off and then get paid $20 million and then go do whatever you want to do. Wakeboard, grill out, get on Instagram, tell everybody how great life is.
I bet it is.
Yeah, no kidding. So, anyway, up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
It's truck season at AHSAA Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month. At AHSAA Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at AHSAA Honda, Tony Serra Ford, Serra Nissan, and Serra Chevrolet.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com. You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast. Lay your best to rest. Call the best. Lewis Pest Control.
Lewis Pest Control is now serving Alexander City and the entire Lake Martin area. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. Whether it's residential, commercial, or industrial, Lewis has environmentally safe products for all your pest control needs. Lewis Pest Control.
Lay your best to rest. Call the best. Lewis Pest Control.
Let Riverbank and Trust open doors for you. Whether you're purchasing land, a lot by the lake, or building or buying a home, begin with Tallapoosa County's loan experts. They'll guide you through the entire process, providing local decision-making, prompt responses, and the best real estate loan solutions for your unique needs. And in most cases, Riverbank and Trust can close your loan in 30 days or less, and they'll walk by your side every step of the way. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. We invite you to experience it for yourself.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. As I try to fight through, man, trust me, nobody will be glad that this crap's gone more than I will. I feel for some people. I haven't been as bad as others, man. There's some people been battling. I mean, really 6 and 7 weeks. I mean,
sounds like in my younger days. Sounds like a night after Colonel Tom's. That's what it kind of.
Just younger days.
Yeah, true that. Actually.
Yeah. So I was just proud you showed up to some event, Scott, at CAC the next day, and maybe not 100%, but you
were there
trying to do what I did today, fight through it. sometimes it's kind of painful. But anyway, as we head to the end of the first hour, kind of wrapping things up here on the high school side, let's recap the Super 7. I said that about 40 minutes ago. We was going to run down these games, and here we are here at the end of the first hour and haven't done it. 7A, Scott, I'll just get your take on these games. And, I mean, really fun week in Tuscaloosa last week. Central Phoenix City defeats Thompson 21-19. About what we expected.
Yeah.
You know, we expected those two teams to be in the 7A championship game, and they were. And Cam Coleman ends up making a play. And, you look over on Thompson's side, Trent Seaborn made some really good throws in that game and really kept Thompson right there in striking distance. And, I didn't think Phoenix City played that good of a game. They muffed 2 punts, gave Thompson the short field. Thompson wasn't able to cash in on one of those opportunities. They missed the field goal, but for the most part, knew it was going to be a close game. Knew Thompson was going for their 5th consecutive state championship. The last time they had been beat was by that Phoenix City program. So if you look at 7A football, it runs through Phoenix City and Thompson, Alabama. And that's just the way it is right now. And, I know Thompson was disappointed, but Phoenix City and Pat Nix finally get over the hump again.
Yeah, and, I'm sure people have talked about it over the last week about how that game ended and maybe the decision to go for it instead of kicking the field goal. But I thought just really the only thing – I actually didn't mind the going for it or what they chose to do.
You talking about in the Saraland Clay Chalk game?
Oh, shoot, my bad. My bad. I lost my mind for a second. But – with Phoenix City and Thompson, I thought with Phoenix City, this I think they have a chance. I think now to maybe, and we say it
to do 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think they could. Yep. I think they could. Not that Thompson's going anywhere, but I think that's what it takes sometimes is just to get that one, like a Catholic, for example. They may just run 4 or 5 in a row now themselves, or at least be consistently in that conversation. But I thought that Pat Nix getting that win was a big deal, not only for their program, but what that could mean for 7A moving forward.
I agree. But Phoenix City there with a big win, finishing off a perfect season. In 6A, you were just trying to fast forward.
My bad.
Clay Chalkville wins 31-28. Now I'll defer back to you and what you were saying about the going for the field goal.
Yeah, I thought that – I didn't necessarily mind not kicking the field goal, but the clock management.
That's where it was messed up.
Yeah, I thought that was really where, if there was a critique, that's where it would be, was that. And, just you didn't leave yourself any other opportunities. Like you had the first down, so had you gone for it there, you still would have had enough time to run a couple more plays.
He could have called timeout with about 17 seconds. When you chose to let the clock run down, they actually let it run down to 3.
Yeah.
And they put 2 seconds back on at 5. I wonder – no, it wouldn't have made a difference. But anyway, you call that timeout there, you pretty much sent a message, all right, we're going to kick a field goal and try to get this thing to overtime. When he ran the offense back on the field, I think we were all surprised. Maybe Saraland's fans were surprised. Maybe they weren't. But you pretty much said at that point, we're putting all our eggs in this basket. We're either going to win the game or we're going to lose right here. And you know what? I understand you got KJ Lacey, Ryan Williams. You knew they were going to bracket Ryan Williams. You weren't going to get the football to him. So it was going to be isolate KJ Lacey. The previous play was a quarterback run for about 15 yards to get him down there. Maybe he felt like, hey, look, I got 5 yards to get right here. KJ Lacey can get me 5 yards and get in the end zone. DJ Barber came out of nowhere, spying, obviously watching, and hit him from the side. I don't think he ever saw him, Scott, and knocked him down at the 1 yard line. He coughed the ball up. It was recovered in the end zone. It didn't matter anyway. The game was over. But I think KJ Lacey, when he took that step back, maybe had waited another second to sell it and then take off and run. I think as soon as the ball snapped, he took off and ran, which tipped the hand, which gave DJ Barber enough time. If DJ Barber had slid maybe out a little bit further, he wouldn't have had time to get to him. Yeah. That just shows you how you execute the play has a lot to do with it too, because a lot of times on those design quarterback draws, you're sitting back there a second or two to try to. But I think he was obviously he was impatient, wanting to go ahead and score, and but just two players making plays, man. What else can you say? Do you get stopped on the 1 yard line in the 6A championship game? DJ Barber had to make a play to prevent Saraland from scoring. So there's two ways to look at this thing. It's not that KJ Lacey lost the game. It wasn't his fault for Saraland. It was DJ Barber won the game for Clay Chalk.
Yeah, and I'll say this: if you didn't get a chance to watch like the tail end, like I watched you and Randy like in the box during that, and just the interaction, like that was from like you turned in for a split second, was from a spectator standpoint. It was like, wow, like is this what's about to happen? And then to hear the actual call, it was done phenomenally. So I do want to give you guys credit for that. I thought that was a very well called game, but the last 30 seconds for sure were. But good for Clay Chalkful. Thought Saraland, like it's
two in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
for them.
like if you're Saraland for for the way that the season's going to end, I don't think that it takes away from the type of year
it
you had.
It should.
But gosh, you hate to
you were a yard away from a 15-0 repeat state championship.
So part of me is, if I'm on the team, is saying,
it's gut-wrenching.
Let's go kick this field goal and give me a chance to win.
Right.
Give us the chance.
Give us more opportunities.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Drew Gilmer 71-12 at Clay Chalk.
Sheesh.
With 2 state championships in the last 3 years. I mean,
So
find somebody in the state better than him the last 3 years. Seriously.
Are they will they stay in that, or from a size standpoint, are they 6A?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say if they were.
Because they're right beside Hewitt Trustful. I mean, I don't think, unless something drastic changes, but I think they'll stay 6A, which, they're going to be a force as long as he's there, and as long as they have the players coming through, he's going to coach them up. And obviously, I'm proud of Drew. Played baseball here at CAC, and just a really good person, and very humble. It's never about him. If you see his interviews, it's always about the players and his coaches. He never talks about himself, so it's our job to talk about him. 71-12 is phenomenal. It is. And 2 state titles in the last 3 years. Up against top of the hour break. Stay tuned. 1 hour left here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
It's truck season at AHSAA Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month at AHSAA Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at AHSAA Honda, Tony Serra Ford, Serra Nissan, and Serra Chevrolet.
Truckloads of new and used models. Over 200 on the ground or on the way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cabs. Discounted up to $12,250 off. The best-selling and well-equipped new Chevrolet Equinox. Discounted up to $6,000 off. Enjoy no payments till springtime.
Get your best price every day at Glenn Smith Chevrolet on the lot or online at glennsmith.com. Get ready to smile.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is serving up all your favorites: shrimp and grits, po' boys, tacos, seafood platters, and so much more. Don't miss out on our famous loaded fried green tomatoes. Wharf Casual Seafood is located on Highway 280 next to Regions Bank.
The Alabama Slammer. It's a popular drink at parties, but drink too many and you'll wind up in this Alabama Slammer. And if you drink and drive, get ready for a real Alabama Slammer. If you're involved in a crash where a driver's been drinking, you're 4 times more likely to die.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Again, my apologies for sounding so raspy this morning. It is getting a little better, it sounds like.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, we're starting to play through it a little bit better. All right, 5A football. Gulf Shores defeats Ramsey 21-14. Ramsey was the defending 5A champs. Really good football game between two good football teams, and you look over at Gulf Shores and they get their first state championship, and what do you say? I mean, there was some controversy this year with them. I'm not going to shy away from that. A lot of people felt like there were some things that went on. There were some investigations, obviously, that were all over the place, but nothing was found that they did. So they were cleared to move right along. And, a star-studded staff down there at Gulf Shores. Just Ronnie Royal at running back. He was in the game yesterday, the North-South game playing. So been a machine. And we knew that Gulf Shores and Ramsey were probably the two best teams in 5A all year. Hey, Central Clay had something to say about that. They were right there with them and finished a 10-0 season. I know they were disappointed to go out in the first round the way they did, but they suffered some injuries on that team that really hindered what they were able to do. And look, that's unfortunate for them. That's part of the game. But it changes, your team when you lose, maybe your star running back or a quarterback or whatever. But Clay Central had a really good year. But outside of Clay Central, we knew Gulf Shores and Ramsey would end up possibly in the state championship game, and they did. And, it came down to a one-score game. It was a good football game. And Gulf Shores jumped out on them 21-0, Scott, in the first quarter. So Ramsey had their chances. Ramsey had the ball several times. So credit Gulf Shores defense for being able to stop a high-powered offense in Ramsey.
Well, at least he could do it on the high school level. He wasn't the best on the collegiate side, but I think that he
Hudspeth, yeah.
I think that there's a good
well, Brian Van Gorder dialed up. I had somebody tell me that, and not being funny, but and I don't think they knew. We were stopped in the press box coming out, and they went, man, that defense for Gus Shores. I said, well, dadgum, they had the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator. I mean, Brian Van Gorder was the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame, Auburn, Atlanta Falcons. I mean, dadgum, his resume is ridiculous.
He did.
Now, he did dial up some of the most unbelievable blitz packages that, most at any level would have a hard time, figuring out where it's coming from. But just a bunch of exotic blitzes coming from different areas and kept Ramsey off balance. You had to bring that kind of pressure to really have a chance against them, and he was able to do it.
He was, but hats off to Ramsey. Great season for them, but similar to how we were talking about Clay Chalkville, good chance. I mean, Gulf Shores isn't going anywhere.
No, they're not going anywhere.
Clay Central neither, so those two will be fighting each other to see who's going to be playing for the state championship for the next decade.
Unless Gulf Shores moves up.
Which, very well could happen. A good friend of mine's down there, and he's just saying how much the culture has changed since they went to their own school system.
In Orange Beach, look at what they're doing with the new facilities and all.
It's going to be
it's going to be an arms race down there. We do have the reclassification coming up here in a few weeks. I know a lot of people are going to be, on the edge of their seat waiting on that. Not a spoiler for Benjamin Russell people, but we're not going anywhere. Going to be in 6A. Again, I think we're obviously very competitive in 6A, and we proved that, we were right there as maybe the top 4 teams in the state this year in 6A. And, we got a great coach, got a great staff, got a lot of great talent coming through the program the next 4 or 5 years. That's what it takes, building consistency. The culture is back to where we want it to be as a program. You just look at what Coach Grider was able to do these last 2 years, and, nobody outside of Clay Chalkville and Saraland's won as much as we have in 6A the last 2 years. Maybe Hueytown up there as well. But so, we're in a good situation to stay right there and have a chance to compete year in and year out, Scott.
Yeah, and that's all you can hope for. I mean, everybody wants to hold up the blue map at the end of the year.
Well, Saraland's a perfect example, Scott. I mean, everybody thought they were going to hold the blue map up. Don't work out that way sometimes. I mean, you can have a star-studded roster and you can play dominant football all year long and still not win a championship, and then sometimes maybe not play your best football but play their best football at the right time and go and win a state championship. You have to have a lot of things go your way to win a title.
Agreed, and we've seen it. I mean, I think that this is as it relates to Benjamin Russell, I think that from the word you use, culture, I think that was the most important thing about all of what's taking place is that there's a newfound passion and pageantry for the program that we were lacking for a little bit, but when you start having success, then that breeds success as well. But I think from a staff standpoint, we're great, and there's obviously what we saw with Malcolm this year and Gabe and some other talented guys who are going to get some offers or who are signing to some big time programs. We've got some younger kids, some underclassmen who will definitely, Caleb Spivey, Darren Morgan, guys like that who may
those are two
highly recruited players.
4- and 5-star guys right there.
So I think we're going to be in good shape for a while.
Yeah, I totally agree. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SCC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
If you're looking for something to do in the Lake Martin area, you have to go to Liquor by the Lake. Liquor by the Lake is not only the best place to pick up your hard-to-find liquors and craft beers, there's a bar. An awesome bar serving up specialty cocktails and martinis. And the best bushwhacker and creamsicle drinks at Lake Martin. Make plans to come out for happy hour Fridays from 7 to 9 with half-price beer and cocktails. And there's live entertainment on Thursdays. You can even watch the Alabama and Auburn games and Sunday and Monday night football. Liquor by the Lake located on Highway 49 in the Big Fish Complex near Stillwaters. Open at 1 every day but closed on Wednesday. Come see us.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Truckloads of fresh inventory are rolling into Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Come see and drive the new full-size GMC Sierra 1500 trucks, discounted up to $13,500 off. And the roomy and stylish GMC Terrain, up to $6,700 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until springtime.
Get your best price every day at Glenn Smith GMC on the lot or online at glennsmith.com. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine, heating, and air. About 40 minutes left on today's show. Y'all probably be glad when I roll off there with my voice today. But anyway, let's go down to 4A. Scott, Montgomery Catholic finally gets over the hump, wins a state championship. Man, it was not close over Cherokee County, 35-0. Now, the score wasn't indicative of how the game went for about three quarters. I think it was 14-0, and, you know, Cherokee County lost their quarterback, and so they had to put Conejo back there at kind of a wildcat, and Cherokee County had an opportunity to get down there and cut it to a score, and they went for it and couldn't do it, and just couldn't find enough offense. Yeah. And Caleb McCreary, we saw yesterday in the North-South game, the quarterback there for the South, just a tremendous player. But Montgomery Catholic has been the team. They've been the best team in the state the last 5 years that hasn't won a title. I think you just said a mouthful a minute ago. I think now that they've gotten over the hump, they understand they've probably been the best team in 4A year in and year out, and haven't been able to cash in. Now that they've cashed in and may win 4 or 5 in a row.
Yeah, and you know, deservingly so. As you said, they have been one of, not just definitely in 4A, but one of the best programs in the state in general. I mean, you look at, they haven't. I can't remember the regular season win streak, but they don't lose in the regular season.
I think they're up to like 37 in a row.
I mean, they've done what's necessary. They just couldn't get over the hump, or they'd match up with somebody in
34. I just found it.
So, I mean, they're going to be around for the foreseeable future, and I'm glad to see that coaching staff continue the success that they were having previously. And so good for them, and I think that that's going to be a team moving forward that we're just going to see in Auburn and Tuscaloosa for a while.
3A, Mobile Christian gets over the hump, too. They win 55-28 over Madison Academy. There's Madison Academy. They have found their way back, and you know, this team seems like it's going to be pretty strong for a while. Again, we saw them a couple of years ago, Scott, here at a Jamboree game with Benjamin Russell. Very young team at that time. They had a freshman at linebacker that's really making unbelievable plays now. Quarterback, we knew they were going to be really talented. They had a couple of really good receivers on that team. And They brought their 3A program up here to play us and played us well. So we said, watch that Madison Academy team the next few years, and lo and behold, there they were, and had a chance in that game. But Mobile Christian just a little bit too much offense for them.
Yeah, and Mobile Christian, shout out to Justin Mosley, friend of ours, his alma mater, but they've been there too. They've been one of those things.
Yeah, and they just couldn't get over it.
Couldn't get over the hump, so their tradition will continue to keep them in that right path.
Anybody shocked to see 5 win another one?
Man, I thought this was like.
And Reeltown played great. I mean, let's not take anything away from what Matt Johnson's done at Reeltown. 43-24, 5 wins. But, you look at 5 coming out of the locker room, and we were standing on the field, and, Reeltown came out. If I'm picking off the hoof, I'm picking Reeltown all day over 5 when you look at what they were running out on the field, talent-wise, athletic-wise, until they snap the football. I mean, and then 5 just becomes 5 like they do against everybody they play. And it's more about technique and fundamental and repetition. Now, not taking anything away from their kids, you got to play the game. But they get after your rear end, man, and they're so well disciplined on what they do. They just don't make any mistakes. You're going to have to play a perfect football game to have a chance to beat them. And they don't try to hide anything. They're not going to throw the football. They do it all running the football, but it's all misdirection. It's all, running out of that wing T type formation and blocking everybody correctly up front. They just do a good job. Paul Benefield, he's a master.
My cousin texted me during the game. This was maybe after about the first or second drive for 5, and he was like, 5's been running the same plays for 20 years. I was like, it works.
It don't matter, man.
They're just going to do what they do better than what you can do. And if you think you can stop it, so be it. But I'm with you, Paul Benfield is just phenomenal coach, and what we've seen, one of the best we've seen.
Right. I think we may have a phone call. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, go ahead.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Man, what's up, Jerome?
Hey, I want to comment. You look at the 2A, and 5. I think the last person team that won that was Lynette, but only reason Lynette won because 5 went up to a 3A.
You're right, Jerome.
Reeltown went up to a 3A, and so they won, but they didn't win the championship, so they bumped them back down to a 2A. So I don't know I know y'all probably have the records, but I think 5 own 2A. Seem like they do, because seem like when they get out there, they might lost one game, but I tell you, when Lafayette played them in 5, every time we got the ball, they throw the flag. Every time we made a touchdown, they throw the flag. And every time they got the ball, they score. I mean, 5 seem like they are
Sounds like the perfect combination, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm telling you, but every time, Coach, y'all know our quarterback back then. He was running the ball, and every time he scored, they put a penalty. They backed him up. I think, everybody talk about the referees. I think they cheated us because we caught every time we scored, they caught it back. Every time they touched the ball, they scored. They had a nice stadium. Believe me, it's a beautiful stadium. But I'm telling you, long as 5 continue to be, I believe the 2A is going to be good. But I think Benjamin Russell next year, we ought to bring home the title next year because we got all them good guys, younger guys, and they're coming together. They're developing. So I think the next couple of years, we ought to have a couple of championships here in Benjamin Russell.
Would love to see it.
Y'all have a good Merry Christmas and talk to y'all next year.
Hey, thanks so much, Jerome. Appreciate it. Jerome made a really good point that 5 jumped up to 3A, and it gave the opportunity for. It's kind of like when Michael Jordan took a break in the NBA. It gave the Houston Rockets an opportunity to win a couple of NBA championships.
That's a really good point about Lynette.
But you know what 5 did when they went to 3A? Went up there and won it.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So
it's really unbelievable to see what they do. And but until somebody knocks them off. And Coach Benefield told us that next year's probably, he said, his best team ever. So
how comforting is that for the rest of 2A?
That just not at all, not at all. But we've done basically a Hometown Heroes documentary on Fife football. Is phenomenal. A lot of people have talked about it. If you don't know the history of Fife and how close he was in the early years to winning like 5 or 6, but always coming up short until he changed his philosophy and the way he did stuff to get them now on the roll that they're on, man. I mean, telling how many state champions. He's already got more than most anybody could ever imagine. And now you've got a situation to where, man, like Jerome said, good luck in 2A. Yeah. As long as Fife is in there. And their lone loss this year was Geraldine in 3A, and Geraldine was one of the top 3A programs in the state. Man, I just got it going, man.
And it does. I love – now, don't get me wrong, I love spreading it out and getting everybody involved and seeing your athletes make plays. But there's something about just watching somebody just
if you
put their will on you. You can't stop. I'm going right here. And you can't stop me. There's just something to be
and that's
said
demoralizing.
About that. Yeah.
Hey, look, that's demoralizing for a team to where the ball is going to go most of the time, and you line up correctly, and you have you feel like you have the right defense called, and you've outflanked them, and they still get 7, 8, 9 yards. At that point, you're sitting over there going, Coach, I don't really know what else we can do.
Well, if somebody is every second touch getting a first down, that you can't from defense, it's just tough. You can't do anything about that. And they're scoring 40 and 50 points too. That's the whole other thing. It's not like they're winning 13-0. They're putting up points. So
because they score every time they touch it. It may take them 13 plays to get down the field, but again, you got to turn a team like them over. You got to force them to make some mistakes to steal some possessions. And if you can't do that, if you cannot force them to make some mistakes, you're not going to beat them. I mean, it's just really that's the solution for Fife right there. And as long as they play, they're not going to get outmanned from a physical standpoint. They're going to win the trenches 99% of the time. And you saw an opportunity there for Reeltown late in that game. They spread out Reeltown and really made some plays through the air. And Fife had a struggle trying to defend that. But it was a little bit too late at that point. But maybe, you can't just say that we're going to spread it out and try to go up and down the field. You're trying to also play the chess game, but we don't want to run our defense right back out there if we happen to go 3 and out. Or if we score too quickly, they got to go. Man, it's just it's the chess match within your team of trying to figure out how to defend them the best you can.
Yeah, and that's a really good point there about, there's some teams that probably have the ability to spread out and do some things that maybe isn't conducive to the type of game or game script that Fife would want to see, but you don't want to risk your defense going back out there who was just out there for 12 plays. And so if you go 3 and out or you score quickly, so now you're looking at basically a half of a quarter your defense has been out on the field. And so now you're expecting, now you have to score. So if you miss one time on that without scoring, Fife gets up 2 scores, it's going to be tough to beat.
Right. Galen with a comment here said, what a great season for Montgomery Catholic football team. What a great job by Coach Kurt Juice Johnson. The only head coach in Alabama to go 16-0 as of yesterday. Amazing go Knights. You have one on the south side. Galen sending out a shout-out there to Montgomery Catholic, and they deserve it. I mean, just been a tremendous program the last several years and finally getting over the hump and winning that. So, our hats off there to Montgomery Catholic. We're going to take another break, come back, we'll finish up. We'll talk about the 1A game, and then we'll dive into college the rest of the time. Stay tuned, more of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. Man, I hate listening to myself. I can't imagine. Bless everybody's heart for tuning in here to me this morning. But anyway, fighting through it a little bit better than it was to start the show this morning. Let's finish up the Super 7. Leroy wins 28-21 over Coosa Christian. Man, Coosa Christian had to forfeit 4 games this year, almost missed the playoffs, got in there and stormed through, and a lot of people felt like they would be the winner of 1A, and Leroy was the defending champs and said, no, hold on just a minute. Leroy football is strong. They've been a powerhouse for a long time, and they win another state title in a very good game, 28-21.
Yeah, something I love is just when we recap these finals and the Super 7 and seeing the teams that when we first started, like how many of those teams are still around that are still doing it. And Leroy's one of those teams. I mean, I bet y'all have probably called 6 or 7 of their championship games. So great. They're just a great program. Very similar to Fife. They do.
I think it was Leroy that beat Sulligent that game.
I'm pretty positive.
No, I've never. That look, Sulligent was good, I've never seen something imposed on a team like. And of course, we had Austin and everybody up there in the prep, which is not good. Yeah. And and they hit one kid. I'm first of all, they scored from like the 1 inch line. When I say 1 inch line, going 99.
Yeah.
Like Sulligent finally had a play, and they had Leroy backed up, like inside their one. And you're like, all right, here's a chance for them to. When I tell you bulldozer, they bulldozed that entire. And the guy went 99 yards for a touchdown, and about 2 steps beyond the line of scrimmage, Austin yelled out "jailbreak" in the booths, and
it's one of the greatest calls, like moments that I've been a part of.
And I'm telling you, man, from that point on, and I've never seen a team get physically dominated the way Leroy did, or Ray Leroy did. Sulligent was undefeated, by the way, that year going in. So you run up on stuff like that in these championship games. Sometimes these teams have these good years, and man, but you were the reason we started talking about that is Leroy's been around for a while.
That's the whole point.
I mean, hey,
Leroy has been a staple.
But that was like one of the first years, and we'll never forget that game.
No, that was 2008. Like that. That's how long ago it was.
I mean, and that was so vivid. That run is still so vivid.
Or 7, maybe. Might have been
2007. I think it was 7.
Yeah.
It was so vivid when they broke that run. I mean, I can still see it. He was down here on the right, and they come through. I mean, it was just something else, man. I mean, and so 1A football, 2A football is a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoy watching it, when I called those games back then, they were fun to call, but I like being able to sit back and a lot of times go on the field and see that up close and personal. I've seen Fife so many times now, field level, watch them, what they do fundamentally. And again, like you said, if you're a student of the game and you really like football, it's no different than somebody being a student of baseball, really enjoying a pitching duel where a team wins 1-0 or wins 2-1. Your average fan wants to see action. They want to see home runs. They want to see stealing bases. They want to see, a lot of movement. But a purist would really sit down and appreciate the defensive type games. And, a purist really loves 1A and 2A style football.
Yeah, and I mean, we got to experience the best of both worlds when Coach Danny Horn was here. We'd go into it at times where
you could experience 6A through 1A football in one game with Coach Horn. Yeah. Because, and I'll tip you hat to our kids and that coaching staff for being able to go from one series to the next to the extremes and be able to execute those different types of formations to almost perfection.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many teams that can go from the double wing to the wishbone to a spread, no back, 4 or 5 wide formation in 3 consecutive possessions. And we watched it happen.
Yeah. I mean, and that's where I'm saying it funny way, but you're right. I mean, we had any style of plays you wanted to see, especially during that.
How do you prepare for that? Nobody did.
Yeah, that's
not many did. So
it was. Yes, I can't remember. Did y'all call every game then too?
What? The first 2 years, I said I'd never make that mistake again. The first 07 and 08, and it was only 6 back then. But I don't know what Randy and we weren't thinking about like the first couple of years of the basketball where. This sounded great by the end of you just it was a learning experience for all of us and a growing. But, 6 football games, preparing mentally, kind of by the time we got to that 1A game, it was like everybody was kind of delirious. We're trying to hold it together, and the least little thing would set you off. And, so – that in a nutshell. Yeah, that were good times for sure. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell, and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final couple segments here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Now my voice is starting to actually,
You just had to get it going.
well, man, it took 2 hours to do it, and it's time to sign off, and I know everybody's probably excited about that. I wanted to go back, and look at this Leroy team now that we brought it up, and everybody's like, why are they talking about Leroy? We were actually going back and some memories, memory lane, and some of the first games that we called in the Super 7. It was actually the 2008 championship game. They beat Sulligent 41-8, and we knew then the Sweetwaters, the Leroys of the world. We knew then they were programs that we saw year in and year out. They scored 659 points that year and gave up 250.
Jeez.
And Sulligent, I'm telling you, man, had
They were a good football team.
Undefeated.
Yeah, they were a good football
And got beat 41-8. And I'm telling you, we joke, but we don't joke. I mean, it had hit delirium in the press box at that point, and everybody was kind of like, wow, this team is going to go on a run. And Leroy's been a program. The reason we're talking about this is they kind of have been out of the mix the last several years, gotten their program back. Now they've won 2 in a row again. The theme of this whole this Super 7, I think we see a Montgomery Catholic get over the hump. We see what Fife has been able to do for so long. We see Leroy back in the fold. We also see that Phoenix City could possibly go on a run along with Gulf Shores. Just a lot of storylines of programs that have been around a long time, and even some new ones that could possibly make some big time runs. So
yeah, and I enjoy it. I mean, it's obviously the best teams are going to always be around, but it's nice to see when a team like a Phoenix City or a Montgomery Catholic is able to get over that hump. We look at teams like a Real Town, who Matt Johnson at some point is going to get one. I don't know when it's going to happen, but he's going to get one.
You know, if there's a team in 2A, I'll say this, and I know we're a little biased here in Tallapoosa County, but if there's a team in 2A not Fife off, I think it's Real Town. And I think because Real Town's so well coached, they have the athletes and the talent to compete. They played Fife as good as anybody's played them all year and lost 43-24, but the score really wasn't indicative of how close that game was coming down the stretch. And I think building off of that, Scott, I think looking at Matt Johnson able to show his team, you know, if we do this a little better, we clean up a little bit here, you guys can be the new 2A champs. And, you know, B.B. Comer felt like they could get back there. Real Town knocks them off at their place. Real Town's really dominated Highland Home, who everybody felt like, you know, has been the team that was coming up and had that, you know, top-notch Division I talent on their team down in 2A football. But, you know, Real Town just lines up and beats them every time they play them. So if there's a team that can get over the hump and not Fife off, I think it would be Real Town.
Yeah, and even from a – you know, we're talking about the emergence of Gulf Shores and what that's probably going to look like moving forward. But just within the last 5 years, you had Clay Central, who had won 2 out of 3 and was pretty much right there in that same conversation. So there's a lot of teams that have opportunities, but when you boil it down, there's those 3 or 4 every year. You're like, okay, one of these 3 or 4 are going to win. But now that we kind of talk about this year in and year out, but looking at it now, which classification do you think is the strongest heading into
6A? Top to bottom. You know, I just think, especially if Gulf Shores moves up in 6A, I just think 6A is just such a juggernaut. I mean, you look at Saraland and Clay Chalkville. I mean, Saraland from a power index ranking was the number 1 team almost all year over Thompson and Phoenix City. And I think the final power rankings, maybe Clay Chalkville moved up to number 1. But anyway, that tells you. I think Phoenix City was 2, Saraland 3, and Thompson was 4. So if you want to look at it, and the reason I say that about 7A is there's only 4 or 5 teams. Maybe that's a stretch. Maybe 3 teams that have a legit chance to win a state title. If you want to throw Auburn in there. But Hoover's even taken a step back. Right now it's Thompson, Phoenix City, maybe Mary Montgomery this past year coming and emerging from the Mobile area. But, Scott, there's really everybody knows right now sitting here today in December when we get ready for the season to start next August, where somebody's picking Thompson or Phoenix City to win 7A already until somebody proves otherwise. In 6A, you can't do that. Saraland's losing Ryan Williams. KJ Lacey will be back, but they're losing several of those guys on defense. I know they'll reload. Clay Chalkville's losing Jalen Mbakwe and the big offensive tackle and DJ Barber on defense. You don't know who's going to step up in 6A football. I mean, it could easily be one of those 2 pros. Could be Benjamin Russell. You know, you just don't know. I think it's just so even with about 15, 18 teams.
Unreal. And that's not a
Mountain Brook. I mean, you got Mountain.
Like, there's legit.
We got Mountain Brook, Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa. I mean, you can just keep listing those type teams, and you could put them in a hat and draw them out, and you feel good about whoever you drew out, depending on what kind of playoff draw they get and what bracket they get in and all that. So Pike Road, another one. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Agreed. That was my answer. I was talking to a coach and thought that 2A was very, very close to being on the level of 6A. And I think that 2A is very good.
I disagree with that. I think in 2A you got Fife, and then you got Real Town. And then, I mean, I think you got, you know, Highland Home. And, I mean, B.B. Comer's been good the last 2 years, but they've had a lot of really good talent that they're losing this year. Not to say that Adam Fawcett's not going to be able to coach them up and get them back again. But, man, there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, I just think in 6A, with the size of the schools and the number of athletes, it is just so hard to win that division. It just is. So let's go to the phone real quick. Caller, go ahead. Hey, caller, you there? All right, no call. We got to get to our last break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
This fall, nobody beats Martin's Sports Pub for Lake Martin's best sports experience. Martin's all-star lineup of cold beverages and pub fare food can't be beat, with the region's best wings, burgers, and signature dishes. At Martin's, you always have the best seat in the house for all college and NFL on our multiple 360-view TV and huge projection screen with surround sound. See our pigskin scoreboard weekly to win big money and let our all-pro teams serve it all to you at the place we all win. Martin's, Highway 34, Dadeville.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Final segment. Let's go to the phone line. Welcoming our good friend Luke Robinson here on this segment. Luke, appreciate you joining us here. I'll divert to you. Alabama-Mississippi game, it's always one that you and I enjoy calling. We're not there this week, and it's probably a good thing with me not being there the way I sound, but always a fun game to cover.
It really is. This year will be particularly fun. Got some good skill position guys, obviously. And Mississippi's maybe not quite as loaded as they normally are. They've got some good defensive players, but they don't have necessarily the stud lineup like they had, several years ago. They had A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf. They don't have a Chris Jones. I talked about that the other day. That two guys have blown me away to the point where I was like, there can't miss prospects in all the years I've been doing this. And one of them was Chris Jones. And I only got to see him once in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. That's all I needed. I remember after the game just going, I don't know what Alabama's got to do to flip him from Mississippi State, but they got to do it. This guy is incredible. And, of course, he's stuck with Mississippi State, and he's still in the pros now. He's been very, very, very good. He hadn't been maybe quite as dominant in the pros as I thought he'd be, but he's been up there. And then the other one's Ryan Williams. I mean, I think Ryan Williams is just a freak of nature. I mean, there's some good players on this Alabama-Mississippi All-Star team that are going to be stars in college, and they're going to be stars in the NFL too. But Chris Jones and Ryan Williams are up there for me as the two. I think the two best I've seen in doing this all these years. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table, because the one catch about Ryan Williams is that he's reclassified. So
right.
He's going to have one less year of development from everybody else. But, I would make the argument he may already be 2 years ahead of everybody. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, everybody's not created equal. He is a special talent. You're not going to be able to see Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson this game. They opt out, and you and I know that players sometimes opt out for different reasons, and some decide that they don't want a chance getting hurt, or some want to continue to kind of just follow through with the recruiting process, especially with the early signing period now. Just real quickly, Luke, next Wednesday should be very interesting. Both Alabama and Auburn expecting to sign a lot of really good players, and then there's going to be some that continue on out and follow the recruiting process all the way up into February.
Yeah, I think, Ryan Williams is one of those that just, I hate to say this, keep an eye on, because I think everybody's going to keep an eye on him, whatever he does. But he has said several times, sometimes emphatically, he's going to sign in February, but he might not. And he might go ahead and knock it out Wednesday. Who knows? It's just a fluid situation. And with Perry Thompson, you don't know what's going on there, too. I know Alabama they're more involved than I thought they were. I mean, than I thought they were, last week. Now I feel like they're more involved. My bet is that he probably still ends up at Auburn, and Ryan Williams still ends up at Alabama, just like it is. But I know that there's been more involvement than maybe was let on. And there are going to be a lot of other guys. I mean, these are going to be two really nice classes. Meanwhile, the more interesting thing to me is what kind of changes are people going to make after this transfer portal. I mean, yesterday Georgia's had a gazillion players go in the portal, it seems like. Now, Georgia's argument is, hey, these were a bunch of guys that didn't play. And maybe so. And maybe that's right. I mean, A.J. Harris at Central Phoenix City, good player at Phoenix City, goes to Georgia, and he doesn't really play a lot. Okay. But that Jameson Williams also transferred out, and he's, turned into a first-round pick, transferred out of Ohio State. Jermaine Burton left Georgia, and he sort of did some good things against Georgia in that game this year. So, I think you just don't know. I mean, that's how recruiting is. People love to point to 5 stars that don't pan out and say the system doesn't work, but I'm still a big believer in the more 5 stars you have on the team, the better team you are. I mean, I'll figure it out. Meanwhile, Alabama had Elijah Pritchett go into the transfer portal. Now, again, this doesn't mean he can't come back. I mean, I think some of these players are just going in to leverage their position and see what they can get to come back, potentially. And Auburn, of course, lost Javarius Johnson, which I don't think a lot of people necessarily saw coming. And then they lost Robbie Ashford, which I think everybody saw coming. So the turnover on rosters is so ridiculous. And yes, I mean, there can be some people out there that say this is a great thing. It's great for the players. And, maybe if you're Auburn, you're like, this is great because we need to shuffle out some of the old and bring in some of the new that we think is better. And I get all that. I do. I understand it. But the extent with which the transfer portal is moving is terrifying to me. And I just don't like the idea of having to relearn the roster every single year. Now, that's the fan in me. I understand that's not me being a player where, I feel like maybe I should be getting more benefits from my name, image, and likeness or whatever. I understand that. I'm just saying from the fans' perspective. And in the end, because of the fans is the reason your name, image, and likeness is valuable. So right. I think it does come full circle. And I think people should understand that, hey, the fans need to be involved here.
Well, I think, Luke, I think that's what made college football so special is that you felt attachment to these guys. They were there 3 or 4 years. You knew who they were. You watched them grow. You watched them play. And now the amount of turnover in the roster doesn't allow that. And, even if you are good, you may end up somewhere else the next year. It just, from a fan standpoint, you're right. I think it's really frustrating from that element. So I know we're up against the top of the show, Luke. We appreciate you calling in. I know we'll be watching the Alabama-Mississippi game on our network today. It should be fun. Alabama and Auburn in basketball. Big games today for Alabama. Big game for Auburn tomorrow against USC. Alabama got Creighton today. Going to be a lot of fun. We appreciate you, buddy.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks so much. Up against the end of the show, we'll be remiss if we don't end by telling Andy Graham happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Andrew.
Yeah, a little under the weather this week. Not the best. Join the crowd, right? Yeah. You and I made it through Snuffy McGraw here, you sniffling and me sounding like a chain smoker. So, but anyway, we appreciate everybody that tunes us in every Saturday. Hopefully, we'll be back in a little bit stronger form this coming up week. But appreciate it. For Scott Hardy, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.
Truckloads of new and used models. Over 200 on the ground or on the way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cabs. Discounted up to $12,250 off. The best-selling and well-equipped new Chevrolet Equinox. Discounted up to $6,000 off. Enjoy no payments till springtime.
Get your best price every day at Glenn Smith Chevrolet on the lot or online at glennsmith.com. Get ready to smile.